Earnings analysis and more, front-running algorithms, as well as our game plan in Forex. Is it really possible to front-run an algorithm? Is it really possible to front-run a robot? I'm here to tell you it is very possible and show you how, as well as our full stock analysis. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. We're going to talk a little about front-running algorithms and the trendline course we're giving, and I'm going to really show you why it's important to front-run algorithms. So, for example, yesterday, people might have been a little surprised because they generally don't see me buying these big candles down. But yesterday, as you could see here, the banks pulled down, hit this little trend line support. I'll delete the other lines just to make it easy for you to focus on. I know my charts don't look the same as your charts. Everybody's chart looks different, but everybody can draw a trend line. News came out of Italy. They decimated the banks. They absolutely decimated the banks yesterday. Look up any bank, pretty much any major bank, Citigroup, Bank of America, um, believe it or not, Goldman Sachs is considered a bank, JP Morgan, etc. And you really see that these banks absolutely plummeted now. I was speaking to there's several fund managers in our room, and I actually wanted to share his email. I was actually going to share his email to you guys right now. And he says, Mark, thank you so much for the call on JP Morgan. There was chaos within our firm. Everybody was scrambling. You helped keep me calm and cool, and we were able not only to make back our losses from the prior day, but we were able to double our profits today with your bank call. Always in your debt. Sincerely, I'm not going to drop the gentleman's name. So, what happened was when banks collapse like this, what happens is every single firm out there starts panicking. They start really panicking because a lot of these firms are very long banks. You name it, whether it's Goldman, whether it's every single firm out there, UBS, Warburg, Money Management, Chase, other banks, they have them in their 401ks, they have them in their investment positions, they're running, even hedge funds have to allocate, well, they don't have to, but most of them do, allocate some money towards the banking sector. So when they see this part of their portfolio very red in a market that's been generally going higher, they're stuck in the ultimate conundrum. And the guy showed me the P&L, which I will not show because I don't think he's really allowed to do that. But he basically, his firm went from negative 3.2 to positive 5.5. So if you think this guy owes me a favor, he definitely does. That's an 8.7 million swing in P&L in the banks. That's an 8.7 million P&L swing in the banks. And he thinks like I'm some form of like super genius or I'm some form of Nostradamus that I was able to help him swing his firm's position like this. But what actually happened here? What did I actually do for this guy? What did I do? I'll show you. I drew a line connecting the bottom of February 5th. You could rewatch this video if you need to see these levels again. And I'm using a daily chart. Just draw a line connecting the February 5th low to the May 3rd low. That's it. One line, two dates. A line connects to two candlesticks or two dates. That's all it was. That's all it was to turn around a difference in this guy. Now, me, I bought JP Morgan call spread, I bought Citigroup calls, and a lot of you guys did very well in this today because the banks exploded to the upside. They gapped up and then they ran. So a lot of you guys did very well in the banks today. Now, I'm not going to pretend I made 10% as much money as, the fund who was managing the banks because I didn't. But I'm showing you the power of algorithmic lines. The power of drawing these algorithmic trend lines is crucial to your success as a trader. We're also approaching our 100th episode, so I'm actually going to show you something really cool. So there was a challenge, if you guys remember, back in February, and basically traders were saying, Mark, what can I really do with a 30? There's a trader in our room today who's actually been very successful. I mean, he showed me his P&L last week. He was up to 52,000 from a $30,000 account in which he started in January. 22,000 out of 30,000. A lot of times when people can show, a high number, people always sit back and wonder, what kind of buying power did you need to do that? What kind of buying power did you need to do that? So I'm trying to put something together here for the 100th episode, and I'm going to show you that with $50,000, you can make $1.1 million. And that's my story. And that's my story, that I made $1.1 million with it. No, I'm not talking 10 years ago. I'm not talking 20 years ago. No, I'm not. It didn't happen this year. But I'm going to show you that you can make millions of dollars with a low budget if you trade properly and you take option trades at the right level. Now you might look at this Citigroup or even this JP Morgan. And if you had a $30,000 account and you had a $30,000 account, you might look at this JP Morgan and say, well, the stock closed at 105.93 yesterday. That's pretty much near the levels of where we were buying it by the close yesterday. I didn't buy the day lows. I didn't buy 104.96 in this JP Morgan yesterday, but I bought about 105.93. Now, here's the thing. If you were to just take shares, and let's say you sold the tip top today. Let's say you bought it at 105, just to round off. And let's say you sold it at 108.60, the day high today in JP Morgan. You made $3.60 with a $30,000 account and 2-to-1 overnight buying power. You would have, considering you have 4-to-1 intraday and 2-to-1 overnight, that's generally what people have. And you threw $60,000 at JP Morgan because you were just all in, which is obviously not a good strategy, generally speaking, within itself. But what you did was you did 60,000 and you divided it by 105. And you were able to take 571 shares of JP Morgan. And you sold the tip top today and you made $3.60 in profits. And for whatever reason, you had zero commissions on the trade, right? You made $2,057 or about $2,000 investing 100% of your buying power. What was at risk when you invested 100% of your buying power? See, this is the funny thing. This is the real funny thing. Because if some worse news came out of Italy and they gapped JP Morgan down 5-10 points, you would be crushed. They gapped it down 5 points and you have a $30,000 account and you have 571 shares and you're down 5 points. Now all of a sudden you're down 2,800, you're down about 10% of your money. And heavens forbid even more. So what is the importance here? Why do you think I just sit here and I buy these names going down? Quite the contrary. I almost never do it unless a trend line tells me to. You see, the problem with most traders who don't use trend lines and don't use anything, they'll look at this JP Morgan, considering some of them use moving averages, some of them don't. And they'll say, oh yeah, JP Morgan bounced off the 200 moving average yesterday, was a buy. But generally speaking, stocks that hit the 200 moving average in this market condition actually don't bounce. In fact, it's happening about 21% of the time in which you'll get a decent sized bounce directly after hitting a 200 moving average, or 21%, let's call it 1 out of 5 times approximately. What made JP Morgan work and why I was able to put the money behind it and why everybody in the room followed this trade was because of this one trend line. Now, drawing trend lines has become easier than ever. I mean, you might think, Mark, what is the power of drawing trend lines? millions and millions and millions of dollars in profits. And I could attribute, now granted, I use more than trend lines. You see volume, you see candlesticks, you see moving averages. Sometimes I use pivot points. You see, I would say 95% of it is based on news flow combined with trend lines. That's where I make 95% of my money. The beautiful thing about what happens in a good news flow environment, and that's why I really wanted to talk about that P&L. By the way, that P&L was done over a year. It was actually done over 8 months, that 1.1 million, because I think I started in like March and I ended in October, March to April to May to June to July to August to September to October, maybe end of October, maybe 7, 8 months to make that money. When news flow is good, and it will always be good, and it will always slow down, and it will always be good, just like the market conditions will always change, there is an opportunity to make more money than you ever imagine. Now, this trend line methodology I invented. I didn't invent the trend line, right? That was probably in existence during the caveman days where, you know, I don't know if they use charts, but everybody knows how to draw a line, right? But the methodology behind it and knowing exactly why did you connect those two lines? What was important about those two lines as opposed to something else? That is how you front run the algorithms. This is how we consistently front run the algorithms. That's why it's important. When you look at some of these names, and I'm just going to delete the older lines just to show you, just to prove a point, because I don't want you to get confused with all the lines on your screen. I'll show you this right here, Netflix. Now, on Netflix, Netflix looked like it was just going, so I deleted all the trend lines, right? What if I told you, using Netflix right now, that you could have bought at the bottom of Wednesday, May 23rd? And not only that, we actually called along there on May 23rd on the bottom. It looks too good to be true, right? I'm not saying you'll catch every bottom in the market, but I'm saying you'll catch enough bottoms, you know, daily. I'm not saying you could call every bottom, but I'm saying that you can always call a bottom somewhere. No, you're not going to call the bottom of every single stock every day, but you don't need to make money. What if I told you, look at this Netflix right here, the bottom of May 23rd, this was a live call in our room, that you could have called pretty much the dead bottom on May 23rd accurately for a long. Not not say that it's bullish here, not say that it's bullish the day before, not look at this bull flag and say, yeah, I see what I like. No, I mean, on May 23rd, could have you called the bottom in Netflix, yes or no? And the answer is yes. And what we simply did was we drew that trend line. We literally drew a trend line from May 10th to May 17th. Now, you might sit there and you might ask, why May 10th to May 17th? Mark, I don't get it. Mark, I do not get why you drew that trend line. It didn't matter even if you went over here to April 18th to May 10th, but I just want to make it simple for you to see. That's how you could have called the dead bottom of Netflix. And guess what? This strategy in this market is right approximately 8 out of 10 times. And the risk reward you have involved is phenomenal when you take options. See a $353 stock, you might have, a small account and you might say, I can't trade a $353 stock. But the truth is, you can. You could take call spreads. You could bet $200 on Netflix going up and you can make a decent amount of money as per your risk on $200. That is the beautiful thing about the market. Now, if you have a bigger size account, yeah, you could do options and or stock. The truth is, the traders with the largest accounts I've noticed, unless they're sitting there swinging, 50 intraday positions, it was kind of funny because, I was talking to a friend and he was talking about my buying power. And the question really goes, why do you need 8 figures in buying power, Mark? And I say, my answer to him was just in case I need it. And he laughed. He's like, what do you mean just in case you needed? What percentage of that buying power are you using on an intraday basis? And I say sometimes 1/100th of 1%. Usually a hundredth to a tenth of 1% of that buying power. However, there are those days, 1, 2, 3 days a year, that I will have where I'll have to dip into that money, and I'll need that buying power to load the boat with stock and options, and I'll just smack the living you know what out of it. You see, it sort of gets funny with buying power like that, because the truth is generally you don't need a lot of buying power to make money. That is one of the biggest misconceptions on Wall Street. You need a lot of buying power to buy a lot of shares of stock. For example, let's say you wanted to buy Google. And you're like, oh, it's 1,077, or Amazon. You say, wow, that's 1,624. By the way, we had a bottom call right over here on May 24th of Amazon based on trendline analysis. Oh, by the way, we called the dead bottom here on May 5th. Yeah, I just have to show you this because I'm going to literally teach you right now how to front run the algorithms. So these are live calls in our room, by the way. This is not me just being Captain Hindsight and looking at something. So what if I told you right now on Amazon, just looking, right now, you could have bought the dead bottom on May 15th, right over here, where it hit a low of $1,565.22. Guess what? It never broke that low since. What if I told you you could have bought there? And the very next day it went to $15.94. It literally popped almost 30 points, $29 in change, just below 30 bucks. Let's call it 30 bucks. The very next day. I mean, you want to talk long-term swing? $30 is a big deal for Amazon. It happens often, but $30 is a nice enough move where you can destroy Amazon using the proper strategy. And you know what? You could do it with a $5,000 account. And I've done that. I mean, how do you think you turn, people ask me, Mark, how do you turn 50,000 into 1.1 million? How do you do it? That's what they ask me. And you know what I say? In options, you can make a multitude of your money. And when the market gets good and you guys are starting to see a little bit of the news flow coming back today in the past couple weeks, there are going to be trades that I come up to you with and I'm like, guys, I'm buying 1,500 of XYZ options here. 1,500 calls for those who just trade stocks and don't know really options much. The truth is, I am the biggest options moron on the planet. I am. People think I'm kidding. People think I'm joking when I say I have no idea really what an option, in depth of how it works. The truth is 99.9% of my room understands options better than I may ever understand options. All I'm doing is buying and selling it like a stock. That's all I do with options. I don't know what the Greeks are. I don't know the beta, data, theta, weta. I don't know what those things are. I don't understand delta. People explain it to me in depth and I appreciate it and I forget it the next day. It's the truth. They explained it to me 10 times. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. It makes sense when you explain it. But then I just don't apply it. The truth is I just trade options as if it were a common stock. There's a bid, there's an offer, you buy and sell. That's all an option is to me. So for people who don't understand what 1,500 options is, it's about 150,000 shares worth of stock, because each option is 100 shares comparative. Each option translates into 100 shares of stock. So if you're coming up, and it sounds a lot more brutal if I say, guys, I'm buying 150,000 shares of something, and no, we're not talking a penny stock either, that's where you might need some buying power if I was going through shares. But looking at Amazon right now, back to the point, if I said, how do you buy the bottom of Amazon on May 15th? Right here. Boop. Right there. I attached the April 30th to May 4th high. That's it. And what if I told you this? If after I drew this line, after I drew May 4th, I could have told you even as we gapped up on May 7th, I could have told you in the future before it happened. On May 7th, I could have been like, guys, on May 15th, if Amazon comes down to $1,565.60, it's a buy. I could have told you that before it happened. I'm not talking Captain Hindsight. I'm talking right now. I could have told you that on May 7th. And you know what? I can prove it to you even further. I can prove it to you even further. Let's say you said, Mark, where would be if Amazon, oh my God, using this line, I could have called the bottom April 24th. Let's get it to a different name because I'm going to get heartburn if I look at that any longer. Like Netflix is a great example. That was one we bought. Let's look for just a different name. I just want a different name here. Give me a name, guys. Throw a name at me. Throw a random name at me. Just throw a random name at me. Baba? All right, Baba. So by the way, if you weren't here in Baba, we called the news chat along right over here today. Right over here before Baba popped right over here. That was a nice trade. But I'm here to teach people. I'm going to just delete these lines because I don't want to confuse people. So if you ask me, Mark, where would be if Baba was falling tomorrow and you wanted to buy Baba and you wanted to nail the day low of Baba for a swing long, Mark, where would you do it on June 6th? June 6th obviously hasn't happened yet, right? Where it's May 30th, right? So on June 6th, you said, Mark, I want to buy Baba on June 6th. Where would I buy it? I would tell you the best place to buy Baba on June 6th is $192.74. Now you might be like, where the heck did he come up with that number? It's based off a trend line. It's based off trend lines. And guess what? It works. You know why? Because when I help program these black boxes for some of the largest companies on the planet, for the largest black box trading companies on the planet, the people really responsible for moving the market, when that happens, guess what they want me to help them program? Trend lines. That's what they ask me for. I'm their trend lines. I'm like the trend line specialist. Why? Why would they hire, when algorithms have thousands of different strategies, why would they hire me just to show them how to draw trend lines? Why would they do that? It's because there's a lot of money to be made by doing nothing but drawing trend lines. You could erase everything on this chart, the volume, the moving averages, everything. Just give me candlesticks and a chart to draw, and I would be a successful trader. You could take everything away. What if and look, drawing this line right here, I could have told you that Baba could have topped out on Friday. I would have given you the level of around 201.02. It would have shot up to 201.50 and it would have plummeted back to 199. These trend line things are so easy. There are so many examples. Oh, here's a perfect one. Today's bottom. We're not even talking today's bottom in ExxonMobil. I already have this drawn. If what did I tell you this morning when you guys asked me this morning, Mark, where can XOM bottom? I said 79.23. 79.23 could be the bottom. This is in the pre-market before this happened. We gapped up today in ExxonMobil, but before the market opened, I said 79.23. The day low is 79.22. It sounds almost too good to be true. Okay, Mark, how about tomorrow? Put yourself on the spot right now before it happens. How about tomorrow, Mark? You see this trend line? You see the curve of this trend line? I'll put it in English. If for God knows whatever reason on this planet, for whatever stars align, that ExxonMobil wants to hit $80.15 tomorrow, that's a high conviction swing entry long on ExxonMobil. Oh, well, what if it doesn't happen tomorrow, Mark? What if it happens after tomorrow on Friday? That level is now $79.72. You see, when you see the market shooting up and down, when you guys sometimes see me call the top of the cues and the bottom of the cues with, pretty phenomenal accuracy, all I am usually doing, and there's other methodologies I have, but all I am usually doing is following a trend line. Now, what's the problem with trend lines? Why, if it's been out forever, if everybody is aware of trend lines, it has to lead to the most obvious question. Why aren't people becoming successful and consistent drawing the trend lines? Because nobody has ever created a methodology showing exactly where you have to connect the lines, why certain trend lines are valid, why certain trend lines are invalid. Nobody ever created that before, but I did. And I'm not boasting. I actually feel like quite a loser because it took me over 40,000 hours. I literally mean 40,000 hours. I mean, when I sleep, I don't consider those hours I'm working. I mean, looking at a chart straight, not using the toilet. It's probably closer to 50,000 hours, but I can attest for 40,000 or more of them. Just sitting there and looking at screens. I know, I went crazy. I was a young kid. It cost me a marriage figuring out this strategy. This is my legacy. I mean, honestly, my legacy contribution to the market, this is it. And by creating this methodology and teaching people exactly where to draw it, how to react to it, I have created a system that dominates the current algorithmic environment. That dominates the current algorithmic environment. So somebody told me they wanted to run a test. So what I did was I have several accounts. And what I do is I link one of my accounts to a Schwab account. I linked one of my accounts to a Schwab account, and this account was a charity account. And what I did was I said, okay, I could donate this money to charity, but somebody in the room has $30,000 and they're asking me what they could literally make off it. And what did I tell you? This person's in the room now. What did I tell you when you had a $30,000 account at the beginning of the year? How much should I tell you you could logically make? I said you could logically make $100,000 net profit, not 30 to 100,000, 30 to 130,000. I said you could make 100,000 net profit. That's what I told you. And you probably thought I was nuts because here's a dude telling me, my account can quadruple in size, even a little more, but let's call it could quadruple, could go 4 times higher, right? That's what I told you. So what I did was I branched off my main account. I branched off my main account into a sub Schwab account. And what it does is it simply just duplicates my trades. You can have the programs and APIs where they'll just literally copy trades that you put in and it'll duplicate it across the board for as many accounts as you want. I do it in Forex as well. And I threw 26,000 in the account. And I said instead of giving this 26,000 away and just giving it away to charity to help something, I said I can actually give more money if I do this strategy and I duplicate it. So what I did was I was supposed to duplicate a $30,000 account. I opened it up with 26,000. And the account right now is at $77,000 doing nothing but duplicating only the trades that I do in the Newsbeat live room. 0 trades done in that account were not posted in real time in the Newsbeat live room. And a lot of these trades I've led you guys off for. You guys know where I'm looking to buy. You guys, right or wrong, you know where I'm looking to enter. You know what stock I'm going for, and you see it in real time. So I have a lot on my plate right now. So right now what I'm going to do is I am creating a new account. The people in the room voted. I know you guys voted 5,000. I'm probably going to just start with $10,000 because whatever. It's infinitely scalable, my strategies. But the people are basically asking me, can you do swing trades overnight only using nothing but this trend line? And I'm saying yes. So what I'm doing is I'm going to open up a $10,000 account and I'm going to turn it into $100,000 in a very short amount of time, relatively speaking, to a $10,000 account. I hope it's done in a year. I hope it's done in less. Truth is, I don't know, but it'll be done. And here's the trick. I am going to use Forget about just taking overnights and choosing overnights. Not only is it only going to be done on overnights, but it's only going to be done using the trend lines I'm showing you right here. Zero other strategies. Zero other strategies will be used to make this money in this account other than the trend line methodology I'm showing you and will be teaching you. Dozens of you signed up again. Dozens of you signed up again for the course. Again, it's one of those things where again, I do these courses off the cuff. So the truth is, I might explain it in a different way. I might explain something that's slightly new or slightly different than before. I'm not reading off a script. You will get a recording, but no, it's not a pre-recorded course. Um, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to literally teach you how to time the market. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and don't need to mention 100% of the proceeds that I will be personally making off you taking the Melnick Algorithmic Trend Line course will be given to charity. It's $195. It's too cheap not to take. The whole point of the price point of the course was so that everybody could logically afford it. As I said, it's a course that is taught nowhere else. There's no book you can read on this. I invented the methodology behind this trendline course. And you want to know something amazing? Using TC2000, using TC2000, yes, I'll list the stocks that I have every single day. Absolutely. I'll probably set up a website through T3, and it'll just literally show every position that I'm in, and when I close it, you know, obviously you guys will know in the room in real time as I'm looking to close it before I close it and as I close it seconds later perhaps. So that's a very important thing when utilizing this trendline course. So let me give you more value. Let me give you more value. How about this? How about I show you names that you could logically swing in the future if these levels hit? And let me show you how I'm going to teach it for you so you'll never lose track of it. You ready? This is actually the most amazing part. So for example, on Amazon, let's say that you wanted to go long. Let's say you wanted to buy Amazon. Here's a great level to buy Amazon. Now, utilizing this trend line, I'm going to delete it so I draw it again. Look, here's the bottom of May 3rd. I start the line here. And look, notice how it snaps in. Look, I'm going to slowly move up to the bottom. See how it snapped in there? See that? How it just like snaps in? And check this out. This is on TC2000 and free stock charts. You could use any charting system, by the way, works with this. Look at this. Edit. Extend right. You could change it to any color you want. You can make it red. You can make it purple. You can make it white. So it just looks like a normal trend line. You can make it any color you want. And the beautiful thing about it now is that it automatically extends. Now, you might be sitting there wondering, how did something like this come about? This is something I've been working with the development team at Worden, which is the creator of TC2000 and free stock charts, to implement this. See these lines I'm drawing that are snapping and connecting? My whole job for these big algorithmic firms were teaching their programmers how to do this. It's finally here. It's finally here. And you know what I need to do? Check it out. So I drew the trend line in Amazon. So let's say in the future you want to buy Amazon, but it's too hard. Check it out. Left click, just left click set alert, and you're done. That's it. You left click the line you drew, set alert, you're done. That takes care of everything. And you know what happens? You know what happens? I will get a text. I'll get a text here. Let me just delete. These are from TC2000. I use These are from free stock charts. I use the TC2000 one, but let me just show you. So let's say in the future you want to buy Amazon on this trend line because Mark is saying you have a great risk reward potentially buying it there, right? That's, what I would do. So you literally draw your line, which I'll teach you how to do. You left click, you hit set alert. Now you just hit OK. That's it. Alert created. In the future, whenever Amazon decides to test this line, let's say it happens on June 19th, where the line level is about 1592.61, $1,592, I'll get an alert to buy Amazon. Now you might ask, well, you know, hopefully it doesn't show my phone number. Notification settings. Yeah, it does. So it literally will alert you, and it will send an email and text you on your phone if you wish it to do so. Do you need this service for the trendline class for its value? No, but this is going to make it a lot easier. I also know where Amazon's going to top out in the future on this line. Look, edit, set alert, done. And what you do with this, and this is how I'm going to run this swing account. And by the way, this swing account service is absolutely free for members of the room. There's no added price. There's no nickel and diming you. There's no asking you to cough up more money. I am going to do this on hundreds of different names. I'm going to sit on my behind and I'm going to wait for one of these fishing lines to bite. It's like just throwing a bunch of fishing lines in the ocean. You're in the middle of the ocean and you throw like 1,000 fishing lines out and you're sitting and you're just waiting for one of them to tug. And as soon as one of these lines hit, I'll just go and I'll open up a position. It is a phenomenally effective strategy. It's very easy because you don't have to keep doing work and work and work and work. You could do the work initially and have it pay off later. And that is a perfect example of what I did in Amazon. If you're confused to the exact methodology of why I'm drawing lines there, I teach that during the course. It's going to be a 3-hour course. Tomorrow. It's going to be 4:30 to 7:30. There's a recording. Not only that, I give you my email. To this day, I'm answering questions from traders who took the Trendline course a couple months ago. It's a new course. It came out this year. Who are actually doing well. Here, I'm gonna show you the next email. Let's see. So just want to share his email. Okay, there. Okay. So traders like Yo-Yo Mark, this came in today at 1:26 p.m., 6 hours ago on Gmail. And he's like, "What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Either conditions have changed for the better or I got my head screwed on right. Sending you a pic of a trade I took this morning on NQ, which is Nasdaq Futures. Great trade for me after 4 straight days of being down. Man, that was brutal. Next year I'm marking it on the calendar. Thanks for your help. I'll be diligent in my work to master this system." So I get this all the time. I get traders who are like trying to figure it out, and then they finally figure it out and they start having things click for them. There's another email, an older email. I'm not going to look for it and pull it up now. It happened like a week ago. And again, within a week, I'll get like 300 emails. So I don't really want to start fishing through the pages now during this. But there are traders who are just turning their lives around doing nothing but this. Again, it is one of the most important things you could do for yourself. It's a phenomenally inexpensive course comparatively to the things out there. 100% of it goes to charity. And I will be not only that, putting my money where my mouth is and doing an overnight strategy that utilizes not 99%, but 100% of only this trendline strategy for overnight trades. And we'll be tracking it. And I can't imagine not being very successful in it. So I'll be sharing that with you guys as well, my full trades and everything. Okay, let's go ahead and talk a little about earnings analysis here. Okay, so for those who took the XRT, we were talking about taking an XRT straddle. A lot of you were very happy. A lot of you guys who are not in the room were actually very happy with this because a lot of you guys bought the $47 calls and actually the $46 puts. If you remember, we were talking about it on the last Newsbeat show. And if you actually went ahead with that, you're actually up around 30% of your money right now. And it was a strategy we said we were going to throw on Tuesday, buying $47 calls and $46 puts. XRT, as you can obviously see, had a decent move today. And congratulations to all those who caught that. Simple names like Box reported. This thing is down to 26.50 after hours. You could just see BOX falling. And for me, the exciting thing is going to be Lulu. I think they're reporting tomorrow. Um, they're reporting tomorrow after the bell. That should be a very interesting earnings report. Um, Michael Kors reported today, and let's see what else. Let's see what else did Express report. Express was trading all the way up by 940, so that was an interesting pop there in Express. Let me just pull it up real quick. It's Wednesday. Okay, so we had Guess that also reported. That was a heavyweight in the XRT, and Guess is like flat at the moment. It's at 24.30. That's actually a very important store because we're long the XRT. I look at these earnings and they look pretty good to me. I think the more exciting part isn't who reported tonight, but who's reporting tomorrow. Dollar General's reporting tomorrow. That should be interesting. Dollar Tree is reporting. You get a big move there. Express, if you're holding the XRT, they're reporting tomorrow morning. So that should obviously be very interesting. I don't know if you guys remember Perry Ellis manufacturing brand, power manufacturing brand company. That's going to move our XRT as well. So you have a lot of interesting stuff here. That's American Eagle Outfitters. Sienna's also reporting. After hours tomorrow, we have Costco. I think the earnings are going to be tremendous for Costco. We're going to have to see. We have names like GameStop, which it'll be very interesting to see how GameStop comes. Everyone's bearish on GameStop. You guys are going to be surprised. So you guys obviously know me for GameStop, where I just hang around and I bash it. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I am turning bullish for the first time in GameStop into this earning. So I'll be talking about it on the Newsbeat show tomorrow as well. GME is reporting tomorrow after hours, so I'm going to look for a call position. A call position. Now, again, I was the first person bashing it for years and years and years, and I'm turning bullish for the first time. Similar to what I did in Macy's. So I was bashing Macy's for a while, and then it ended up on my 2018 report. I'll show you that. Again, members of my room. If you're a member of my room and you didn't get my 2018 report, go ahead and email me. So I basically said favorite stock of 2018. This was given on January 1st or December 31st of last year, basically before the first trading day this year. I called sale as my favorite stock. Current price 14.50. I put a $30 target on it. Second target 45. This is my largest position. This is a seven-figure winner for me. If this thing could get to $30, which I'm rooting it for. And I gave my 5 must-own stocks for my dividend needs, and number 1 was Macy's. And people, as I say in my report, while I've been infamously bashing this name when it was over 65, and others in the retail industry, the time has come where Macy's market cap is $7.6 billion, which is less than the property they own in Midtown Manhattan alone. Never underestimate the power of real estate. So I basically came out Macy's current price when it was $25.19. I put $31.50 as my first target, And Macy's right now today hit $36, and they're also paying us a little sweet dividend there as well. So tremendous winner there for us in Macy's. And you could actually look at all the names I gave. SCG, current price 39.78, first target 52. This one's actually a fun one because we gave it right here at the beginning of the year. So we gave it before. Here's January 2nd. The next day, the stock shot to 49.40, and we actually sold this thing right away. This thing jumped up $11 on SCG, and this was also one of our names in which we already capitalized on, so I wouldn't recommend buying it. Then I have Viacom B, which I gave at 30.81. Just showing you certain swing ideas. This one I'm down money in Viacom B. Not as much because I am collecting dividends. That's one dividend idea that I didn't make on. PCG. I put a $54 target at the beginning of the year. This is the one that was suffering from the Californian wildfires. And I basically picked it up right here around $44. It's trading around 43 currently. I think I'm up a little bit of money because of the dividends they pay. They already popped the stock to 48.90, and I'm still holding that one. I'm just giving you an idea. And I gave Ford Motor Company as well as 12.49, and that one is at 11.55, and that's one I'm also a little bit down on as well. Even though not down as much because I am collecting dividends on this. So again, these are just random examples of some of the names I'm in. SailPoint is obviously my heaviest name. This was a name that we gave right over here. We actually gave it over here, but I continued it into my report. If you guys want my report, just email me, mark.melnick@t3live.com. Um, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. But with that being said, back to the algorithmic trend lines, it is critical for your success as a trader. I know I've been emphasizing that point a lot. These are just some names we're watching. There we go. And here are some names we're watching for tomorrow. So let me give you some good heads up right now. Letter X. Congrats, Vince, bringing that to our attention in the room, and congrats holding this. Letter X. Doesn't look like a lot here, but look at it after hours now. It's at 37.64. You might be sitting there wondering, thinking, why is Letter X up this much? U.S. tariff threat may derail planned trade talks with China. So basically, the White House surprise decision to move forward with tariffs and other sanctions against China threatens to scuttle trade talks scheduled for this weekend. So this is absolutely hilarious. So we're going to have trade talks this weekend, and oh, by the way, we're throwing sanctions against your company. Talk about a power play here. So people think this is going to bode negatively for Chinese steel companies. U.S. steel companies, which is also coincidentally the name of U.S. Steel. U.S. steel companies are boding well. I'm giving you guys this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful A plus trigger here. That's going to come in right over here at 38. Whoops, right over there at 38.35. And if you could break through this 38.35, I could see it getting to 39.72. It's currently at 37.64, and it's definitely a cool name to watch. Then I have a smaller name for you guys, a sub-dollar name, Any, A-N-Y, that's Sphere 3D Corporation. Name popped up here, giving you a bullish trigger here through 73 cents because it might want to take a run to $1.14 if you break 73. Nice little pop up. May be good for a one-day trade tomorrow, minimally. That's what I would look for. If you guys are interested in some Forex trades, I am going to go ahead and share my Forex trades. Took a couple losers this week after a bunch of winners. With that being said, you get a screenshot of my live Forex trading account. Here's the type of order: sell, which is a short; buy, which is a buy. This is in US standard lots. Here's the symbol I'm trading. Here's the price I'm looking to short it or long it at, depending on the type of trade. Here's my stop loss. There's my take profit. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into our full stock analysis. Again, if you are interested in that trendline trading course, there is a link within the description. do yourself the biggest favor ever in learning something new in the market, in the current market environment, something that's going to help you add on significantly to what you already know in the market. In combination with everything you know in the market, it is of utmost importance to do so. We are the fastest growing trading room in the nation. Happy trading, make money. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode, and we'll see you guys next time on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.